The opening shot of my film is very conventional of the social realism genre. The main film I got my inspiration from for this opening shot is the social realism film Trainspotting. The opening of Trainspotting is very similar to my opening sequence, as the first shot is of the main character running away from something. He is running very powerfully and is clearly in trouble. I originally was going to use an establishing shot to begin with, which can again often be found within the social realism films, such as Submarine. However, I decided to subvert against this convention, as they can be quite slow-paced and tedious, and instead proceed with an opening shot similar to Trainspotting. The most significant reason why I made this decision is I found having the main character running away from something would immediately engage the audience and raise quite a few enigma codes straight away. Furthermore, the young boy running away coincides with the rest of the plot of the film. It conforms with the conventions of social realism and home life problems. The title of my film is strongly conventional of the social realism genre. The white text on a black background is a technique commonly found in many social realism films, such as Fish Tank and A Room for Romeo Brass. This is a very effective technique as it is conventional of social realism, so it portrays to the audience the genre of the film. In addition, this technique allows the title to stand out, that signifies it is the main title of the film, and additionally grabs the audience's attention. Furthermore, through my audience research, I received the feedback that they would prefer the title to be white. I decided it would be best to listen to them, as they would be the people that would be watching my film. I made the size of the title slightly larger than the other titles within my film, as this is also a conventional technique. To keep my film looking as professional as possible, I made sure all the titles were in the same font. The font I decided to use portrayed the genre of my film very clearly, and it had a strong urban feel and also resembled graffiti, which is a convention of the social realism. The title was very simplistic, as this is typical in social realism films. I decided on the title of my film being Leo, as it is very simplistic and raises enigma codes for the audience. In addition, it is very relevant as the main character's name. Short title names is something I also found very conventional for the social realism genre, as films such as Fish Tank and Trainspotting were both quite short. Costume is arguably one of the most important aspects of a film, as it is always the first thing the audience are drawn to and are influenced by. I chose costumes similar to what I'd seen in other films. This entails hooded jumpers and quite dull dark clothing. This helps to portray the urban feel of the film and the social realism genre. The costume also helps to show the main character's situation, as he isn't particularly well dressed, which could signify to the audience that clothes aren't his first priority and he hasn't got access to anything else. The main location I chose is established clearly using an establishing shot. The graffiti is very conventional of social realism and is additionally quite dark, representing the character's mood and the tone of the film. This clear urban location emphasises the genre of my film to the audience and sets the genre clearly for the rest of the film. The location is also extremely realistic, therefore increasing the realism of the film, making it more relatable to the audience. My main character is introduced straight away as being in trouble, a theme which is common within social realism films. The main character is introduced and is portrayed as being abused. This is shown through the character's black eye and frightened appearance. The other character, John, is then introduced through Leo's flashback. His anger is emphasised straight away during the flashback, as the audio is very aggressive, conveying the pressure John is putting on Leo. Furthermore, the most powerful shot to convey John's abusive character is where he forcefully grabs Leo's shirt, thus hinting at his abusive ways. This creates a clear distinction between the protagonist and the antagonist character. The storyline of my film is clearly portrayed through the opening sequence. Enigma codes are raised immediately through the beginning shots of the boy running. The audience is then shown more characters through the boy's flashback. This flashback shows a clearly abusive relationship the audience will question. A father-son relationship is assumed, as he seems to be the care of the boy at the football match. Special effects aren't conventionally found in social realism films, so I decided to not use them. Additionally, as my film is low budget, it'd be difficult to use effective special effects. Instead, I used editing and camera work to make my opening sequence more visually interesting for the audience. I often used panning shots instead of still ones, as I found they were more effective and interesting for the audience. Through editing, I managed to overlay shots which made the two shots appear over one another. I found this was a very effective technique, as it was quite emotive. Additionally, it made my opening sequence far more visually interesting and conveyed the process of the flashback much more clearly.